this afternoon we're at Jeff Robinson's place. Jeff is involved in the sport airsoft and knew Troy Dubrovskiy, who, for those who don't know, on around about March the 24th, the police saw something or reported about a photo that was on Max's Facebook page because of the events that occurred following the March the 15th, and probably also because of the fact of Troy's background we'll go into a wee bit. They responded and it resulted in a standoff in which Max, is, according to the police, is meant to have stabbed himself. A couple of things which we're not happy about, that specifically the civil liberties issues which we go into. But before we touch upon that, I just want to touch pretty much on about this conception that's been made out, the fact that the people into airsoft, that it's just some full of rednecks and it's full of neo-Nazi white supremacists. Jeff, are you a white supremacist?
No, not in the slightest.
Okay, tell me who plays airsoft in Christchurch.
Everyone of every different race, colour, occupation. We've got doctors, we've got sparkies, we've got labourers, everyone, even kids.
Right, and so basically what do you do during airsoft? You get dressed up, or is that compulsory or not compulsory? Or
getting dressed up isn't compulsory, but most people do anyway. Especially stuff like tactical rigs, because it's easier to get to your ammunition and stuff like that.
So when a lot of the stuff that Troy actually had in terms of these uniforms, which they're making out were he had white supremacist Nazi uniform, he actually didn't have, that wasn't the case. What he had was uniforms which were part of the sport, yes?
Yes, that's correct. Sometimes when we do reenactments, there is unfortunately always another side, always a bad side. Sometimes people play as Commonwealth or US troops, sometimes people play as the remark for the German troops at the time.
And so, as you said, both these things that you've been invited over to the events like Wanaka Warbirds over Wanaka, very family-orientated events, wearing these costumes to put on displays for this particular sport, yes?
That is correct.
Okay, and Troy wasn't buying his uniforms from wearenazis.com?
No, he was getting them from a shop called Grey Shop RU, or through military surplus stores, because they're easy to get, they're cheap, and they're good quality, quite often distributors.
Right, so again, like, I mean, he's sort of part of, you're part of an international sport. You'll show me the video on television where they gather in Russia, and there's about 3,500. It's like corporate sponsorship. It's very above board, isn't it?
Yes, it's all above
board. Okay. Can you show me one of these lethal killer airsoft pellet gun bullets?
Well, these are what they are saying.
See, I have to zero in on because
an airsoft pellet is.
Okay.
A lot of people think an airsoft pellet is the same as a standard air guns pellet, which are those tiny lead. Those tiny lead cones. This isn't the case. The Japanese turned around and said, "Well, it's actually safer if we use a 0.2 gram biodegradable plastic ball to hit each other with."
So pretty much when I was a little student delinquent running around turning the lights off a parallel with a little gun that fired little bullets, which was just available in the toy shop, this is just like an upgraded version of that basically, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big kid's toy.
A big kid's toy. Are you, just because we have to ask this situation, are you aware that Troy had any political leanings at all? Did he express anything at any stage?
No, Troy never really expressed anything in particular.
Right.
He's kind of quiet, to be honest. Sometimes people are just quiet.
I mean, we're not really going to. I'm not planning here to play Dick Tracy. I'm not going to get into that estimate so much. Let's focus a wee bit about the fact that what was Max charged with?
Viewing of objectionable material.
Yeah.
And as far as we're aware, possession of a firearm as well.
Right.
Which is an 8mm blank firing pistol, which is quite often used for either signalling or training, just to.
Okay. So basically a cap gun.
Yeah, basically just a
and the viewing of the objectionable material, do you guys have any idea about what that was?
The live stream.
Okay, so pretty much what the other, I mean, you know, this week, I tell you what, I'm probably one of the few people that actually hasn't seen, I've seen little clips, I've seen things that post around, but pretty much most people around Christchurch at some stage or another will know somebody that's seen this, really, haven't they?
Yeah, well, I haven't seen it myself, but yeah, I agree.
Well, I guess the thing is for people like yourself and me, it's an enormous case of we're not going looking in it because it's we've got too much to lose, and you know. But other people who aren't really, the curiosity is getting the creature. So this is really at the end of the day what Max was probably like anybody else, just curious and he wanted to. But at the end of the day, how old is Max?
17 years old.
So he's 17 years old. His father has just lost his life. Where's his mum and all of this at the stage?
Don't know.
Is she around at the moment, or?
Don't know.
Okay, so bottom line is he's just lost his dad, and they locked him up for having a cap gun and seeing what everybody else around town's seen and refused him bail.
Yep.
What about the person you spoke to, Jonathan Hines, is it?
Yep.
Has anyone heard from him at this stage?
No, no. I've tried talking to him. He can't be found. I haven't been able to find him. Yeah, everything's just kind of gone quiet.
I mean, I'm a little bit puzzled by this because I thought that a 17-year-old was actually protected. Youth Protection Act, I think there's something like that out there, which is
the Vulnerable Children's Act.
Yeah.
So
I mean, this is what bugs me. I don't really know what Troy's politics are. I don't really know what the bigger picture aspect is. I'm surmising that he was probably a person that had seen service. He probably had a bit of post-trauma. I think it's factually established that it had a run with laws. But it does strike me that what's happened is that the police have come in here, they've overreacted, and there isn't any really compassion or empathy at the end of the day for a 17-year-old child who is really. I mean, do you see Max being some international, member of Smersh terrorist?
No, he's just a young kid.
How does the rest of the airsoft community feel about this at the stage?
We're pretty alarmed. A friend of ours, the owner of the arena, recently held a press conference as well, and after that they decided that we were a location for white supremacists and stuff like that. We really aren't. We tried to hold that, to show people that we aren't like that, but it's just backfired on us.
So it strikes me again and it's something very similar we saw in the 1080, where we have a corporate media who have working with the government to push an agenda. I mean, during 1080 they were saying things like, 1080 activists threatened to put 1080 in milk baby formula, when the reality is that actually was a member of the pesticide. And it seems like what we're seeing right now is the same situation where MediaWorks is playing fast and loose with the truth. They're not going to be held accountable. So here the end result is, guess what? You're a 17-year-old kid. Don't worry about be legally represented. Don't worry that you're going to get any sense of justice, because not only can you be assured that the justice system isn't going to serve you well, but you're also not going to be protected by anybody in the so-called mainstream media.
Well, we don't really know how far some of these acts that have been passed actually go. So do they overrule the Vulnerable Children or Vulnerable Roofs Act? We don't know.
And that sort of strikes me a lot. There's not any really pullback and actually having a look at that aspect of it. I'm going to leave it there because at the end of the day, I don't want to get into the whole issue. I'm not here to defend the arms issue. I'm not here to play Dick Tracy. I just wanted to highlight to get to people out there that because of the silliness that's going on right now, is that a 17-year-old kid who really has no real involvement other than he just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, is basically seen his legal rights thrown to the wolves, and he's been pretty much all. I mean, what strikes me about something like this, Jeff, is that there wasn't an issue of radicalisation beforehand. A lot of what they're doing right now is actually almost striving towards, within certain elements, of creating a radicalisation. And it's something we've seen happen in Northern Ireland and elsewhere, where it's like there really wasn't an issue until they came along and made one. Look, I think we've covered what we need to cover. Is there any last words you want to say?
Not really. Just that, we do need to step back and think. We're acting too rashly. Just take a breather. New Zealanders, we aren't known for making hasty and rash decisions. You just need to take a breath.
Thanks, Jeff. Jeff Williams, Ben Vidgen on Deadline TV. Thank you very much for being here.